You know what? I want to call you out right now, LaBrava. For you to say you're Gentle's biggest fan, why was there no likes on his video that's been uploaded for over a month? Because if you take a closer look at this image, you will see that there's 0 likes out of 16 dislikes, which pretty much lets you know. If you know how YouTube videos work, etc., that means no one liked the video. And if you're a fan of said content or video, usually you're gonna leave a like, especially if you're willing to, let's say, become a stalker, search down their address to be able to find them. So, LaBrava, I'm calling you out a little bit. Why didn't you like the man's video? You could have easily have clicked a button and said he liked it. You didn't even leave the man a nice comment. What's going on with that? But okay, all jokes aside though, this was an amazing episode of My Hero Academia that gave us a lot of good content on both sides, for instance on the villain side and also the hero side, and we get to see more slice of life content that we've been gifted these past few episodes of My Hero Academia, and honestly, I'm just a big fan, and I know many are probably not going to like this arc as much as I do. I know there was many manga readers when they read this for the first time, they didn't really enjoy it as much as like some others because it's different. It's very different, and as I've discussed already, it's something that is very different from the content we've seen from My Hero Academia thus far. And I don't know, I like the change of pace, the difference in this arc, and seeing kind of what Horikoshi is capable of when it comes to writing, let's say, something different besides just action. And My Hero Academia hasn't had just action all the time, but mostly it is action focused, and I'm just glad to see, there is some content where the characters grow together and seeing how they interact, and just this episode also goes to further that once again. I really love how the beginning of this episode was very wholesome in a way. For instance, you have Eri pop up and she's about to meet the entirety of Class A, and you see Togetus just sitting in the bushes waiting to ambush them and shock them, figuring out a way to kind of surprise them, and you have it to where Izuku discovers him and you just see his facial expression and he's like, "Are you serious right now? Really? Really, Izuku? You blow my cover?" And then the man's like, "Peach!" And I just like, that was hilarious. I mean, okay, I gotta say, man, Togata, he's got a nice one. He does. He got a nice one. But, okay, jokes aside, though, Togata, he's just such a wholesome boy, and I just love his interaction with Eri throughout this episode. He's kind of like an older brother figure to Eri, the way he's just able to walk around the school with her, taking care of her, and then there was a little scene where you see Eri just holding on to him and all that, which is just super freaking cute. And, obviously Eri is a big point of discussion for this arc, because mainly this arc is also for her to finally find some happiness, to finally have something that she has never had before in her life. So, obviously, this festival is incredibly important for her, and her to be kind of acquainted with what's going on within this school, etc., is very important, because they don't want to overstimulate her, they don't want to stress her out, they want her to slowly be acclimated to the environment, and that's kind of what this episode is about. Eri seeing everyone, getting to meet how the school operates, etc., because this most likely is the first time that Eri has probably ever been in a school as well, so it's a big step for her. It's a very big step, especially being isolated as long as she has, pretty much thrown into the underground basement of Overhaul, so it's a big deal. It really is a big deal for Eri, and I'm just really excited to finally see all this content animated, for the first time. There's a lot of comedy segments throughout this episode that I think many are going to really just enjoy, but there's a lot of things that go to further some things that have been set up since the sports festival of My Hero Academia. One of the big examples is the support side of the school with UA. For instance, Hatsumi and how she is someone that loves to make different equipment, support gear, etc. We know she's helped Izuku out in the past, especially with his outfit, etc. And it's nice to see once again that the support crew of the school, the support class, are actually being incredibly important, and they're really explaining that basically this is their time to shine. It's honestly great world building from Horikoshi, because when you really think about it, the world of My Hero Academia isn't just centered around heroes. I know heroes are incredibly important, that's the main fundamental of the story since it's called My Hero Academia, but to build upon your world, to make it very fascinating, like there's more going on, you need to expand on other segments of society. And like I already said previously, with the whole, video platform of YouTube being in this world, to just how, villains can upload on YouTube to kind of spread their agenda, to basically also seeing stuff like the support, class actually doing what they need to do to advertise their products. There's a lot of world building that has been done, and it's just stuff like this that really makes you appreciate My Hero Academia even even more. I mean, it goes a long way to really just make the world more immersive than just focusing on fights or just one single character throughout the story. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I've always loved My Hero Academia, is because Horikoshi does go out of his way to actually do that. Now, obviously, people can argue that this comes at the cost of Izuku as a character, even though Izuku is a really great character. I like Izuku, but he obviously isn't the most pizzazzy, amazing character out of all countless shonen before him. He does have some interesting things going on in themes, etc., and how he feels like he's not as useful as, let's say, All Might, and he tries to be like him, but he knows he can't be, etc. You know, there obviously is things here that show he's special, but you know, he's not as crazy good as a shonen character as countless others, because Horikoshi decides to give variety to the story. He likes to spread his attention to all characters instead of just focusing the spotlight on one, which is, you know, Izuku. So it comes at the cost of that, but, you know, it's arcs like these, though, that, like I said, really just make My Hero Academia shine. But okay, I want to kind of talk about a few things, some comedy segments, and then I want to get into the La Brava and gentle stuff of the episode. So, there was a scene briefly where we get to see the scene with Mina saying to Izuku, "You're fired." And it's a hilarious scene. I remember reading this in the manga for the first time, and I was just like, really? Is this really happening? Honestly, it kind of went with the whole theme of the Trump stuff that happened, you know, years ago. And, you know, I think everybody at this point knows the meme with Donald Trump when it comes to "you're fired" and all that. It resurged when he, you know, became the president and all that. And it just, like, when Mina kind of did that, I remember the community was kind of like in a full force 100% behind that meme of like, did Horikoshi Sensei just do a reference to "you're fired" from Donald Trump? It's kind of hilarious because with the glasses and all that, the way it just looked very different, and it was funny. I had a good laugh from it, but it does make you wonder if he was referencing that, since this arc does have a lot of pop culture references. I mean, we even have a scene with, you know, the Romeo and Juliet, the Prisoners of Azkaban, Return of the King, which, holy crap, I'm surprised they even made it into this episode. I expected that to be heavily censored and completely changed in terms of the subtitles and what was said, because copyright. And wow, I mean, they go as far as to remove, let's say, certain, like, stand names or character names in JoJo because of stuff like that, but it's kind of surprising to see that Romeo and Juliet, the Prisoners of Azkaban, Return of the King was allowed to be added in this episode. So, you know what, I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm glad that, you know, Joke got to stay and, you know, got to play on some famous pop culture references, which, like I said, gets back into the point I was talking about, is that this arc is mainly for pop culture references as well, like with the whole YouTube thing, with, you know, that with the movie title that I just said, to just stuff with, you know, looking up, like, rare mites, etc. It's kind of like memes, or looking up, let's just say, rare comics, etc. There's a lot of things here that this art does that I just truly appreciate. So, All Might mentions that he used to wear support gear a long time ago. He tried it, but it didn't work out that well for him, because, obviously, All Might didn't really need it, and he wasn't necessarily a far-range fighter. All Might has always been up close and personal, and this is something that once again goes back into the Izuku discussion I had earlier in this video, is that Izuku is always trying to be like All Might, but as the series continues to progress, Izuku is starting to realize he doesn't need to be identical. He doesn't need to be All Might, and the more and more you see these scenes, the more you might think that Izuku might adapt to a long-range fighting style to combat opponents in the future, because maybe support gear from Hatsune helping him, which I am completely behind. I would love to see Izuku using, like, finger flicking, like, air pressure and all that. That would be awesome, and I think Manika agreed with me, it would be an interesting fighting style compared to just being fist fighting, etc. It would add dynamic to Izuku and being able to kind of propel him up and all that to fight. But, yeah, there was a little bit of an interesting background information to All Might and how he, at one point, wore that outfit. It really makes you wonder how he fully looked, his entire form looked with that outfit on, besides the brief little image we got. I would have loved to see the full overall outfit on him, and actually when he put it to use. But okay, I guess enough of that. Let's talk about La Brava and Gentle. So, that entire sequence is incredibly important for a variety of reasons. It kind of explains Gentle getting a little bit more popular, at least getting more noticed in the public eye, even if it's not noticed in a good light. He's at the very least getting more dislikes than he used to. For instance, in the past, he only got 6 16, as I said earlier on this video, and now he's getting around 700 something, so it goes to show that he's definitely made a lot of traction since then. He definitely is being noticed, which it says a lot. I'm just glad to see that even if, you know, dislikes can be disheartening, he is getting noticed in a way, so Lebrava is helping him out in the long run, which is something that's pretty cool to see. His, you know, slow, gradual process and how he never gives up. It's kind of endearing in a way to think about it, which gets into what his main goal is now for this arc, which was finally explained. So he says the world right now is basically in turmoil, which we've known for a while. The world is shifting because of All Might no longer being the symbol, and villains are starting to rise out of the shadows, which is one of the big reasons why Overhaul came out of the shadows, was because of the aftermath of All for One and One for All. So seeing Gentle kind of talk about it kind of once again expands upon what we already knew, and he's like, the society right now is losing faith in heroes, people are basically fearful right now, and Gentle, even though he is a villain, he isn't necessarily evil. He even goes to show this in this episode by saying if he was to invade UA, he would strengthen these heroes and make them a lot stronger. It would make it to where they would be able to rise up much stronger and be able to deal with the pressure of society and how people think that, you know, the world is in danger, etc. Because Gentle obviously isn't going to probably do anything horrible necessarily to the school. He's just going to break in and prove a point that he's able to break in, that UA isn't probably safe. But we know the, you know, the problem is if that does happen, which was explained from the principal's side and Midnight within this episode. If the school even has a hint of an alarm going off, the entire festival, school festival, shuts down, everybody evacuates, and everything is completely ruined. Obviously, Gentle is unaware of this. Only us, the viewers, aware of this. Not even the heroes, besides the teachers, are aware of this situation, which is a pretty big issue right now, because of that means soon as Gentle breaks in, he ruins everything. He ruins the little girl's happiness, which is Eri, for the first time being able to see something. He will ruin the festival for many and elevate the stress once more for all of these students within the school. Now, obviously what Gentle is trying to do, it's interesting in a way. He's not trying to be malicious, but at the same time, because of his actions, he will cause a lot of problems. So it's kind of weird to see that maybe the character that you would never expect to be able to break the camel's back would actually be able to break said camel's back because of him probably invading the school. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Which also, we get to see that he is really great at planning for his invasion. He actually shows how far of lengths he'll go to be able to evade UA security and also be able to go to his tea shop, which is pretty funny. I love that comedy gag, how he went so far to figure out how they could get to the tea shop without being noticed, and then how they got to UA was very simple, but it's still very smart. He was very aware of Hound Dog and how he'd be watching, etc. So yeah, just Gentle does show that he is a good planner. He does take his time, and he is willing to get things done right. But I think I want to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.